Welcome to Storytimer at Large. Rosemarie Austin. Rosemarie Austin was originally from Austria. She was born on August 30th, 1941. Her mother is named on her death certificate as Maria Horvath. I haven't been able to find a record of Rosemarie's wedding day. I haven't been able to determine when she came to the United States. But I imagine that she met Herbert Austin in Europe. I imagine that he was probably serving in the armed forces and that they married there and returned to Indiana. But I haven't found anything to confirm that. It's very frustrating to me that I cannot find a photo of Rosemarie. A photo really helps us humanize a victim and helps people relate to the victim who might read this post. I usually find photos from yearbooks, on Ancestry, and sometimes on Find a Grave, but the victim has to have gone to a school with an accessible yearbook. Someone has to have cared enough to post their photo on Find a Grave. I first became acquainted with Rosemarie's story through a tiny article. One thing I do is I go through old newspaper archives online. I pay a subscription fee every month to be able to access these newspaper archives. And I search year by year. I search keywords like body found, body identified, murdered woman, murder, just general kind of search words. But I was researching other murders in Indiana from 1978, and I stumbled across Rosemarie's case. According to her husband, Herbert Austin, she left the house in mid-1978 in their tiny, small town and just never came back. Wasn't able to find when he reported her missing. I'm wondering, when did he report her missing? How would those around him describe him in the weeks that she was missing? Was he worried? Was he frantic? Was he searching for her? Her purse was found on a rural road. When was that exactly? So later, Rosemarie's body would be found on September 18th, 1978, by a man who was cutting hay. The newspapers almost immediately began printing that no foul play was suspected. A woman is found dead in a field 4 weeks after going for a walk in nice weather, and no one is even raising an eyebrow. Why was her purse found on the road, but she was found in the field? This was not ruled a murder. So they essentially said that this woman went for a walk. She left her purse in the road. She then strolled into the field and died of natural causes. Maybe she wasn't feeling well and she dropped her purse and stumbled through the field and died of heat stroke or something like that. Maybe. What if she went for a walk or a quick trip to the store with her purse? She got abducted or accepted a ride from the wrong person. She was taken to the field, raped, and strangled. Her body might not show any obvious signs of foul play a month later in the Indiana heat and humidity. There could have been damage from the hay mower that might have made an autopsy more difficult. Her body might have been damaged, like I said, by that farm equipment accidentally. But was she given a thorough autopsy? How did anyone look at this and think that it was death by natural causes? She was only 37. It was summer. Highs for that week were in the low 90-degree range. Do we know what time she went for this walk? Maybe she got overheated. But we don't know if this was a walk in the 70-degree morning temperatures, or a walk in the 90-degree afternoon temperatures, or a walk in the 70-degree evening temperatures. She lived in town at 140 Morning Drive in Austin, Indiana. Most of her walk would have been through streets with the occasional shade tree. If she made her way out to the country on foot, there are still opportunities to rest in the shade, or she could have always turned back and gone home. Scott County Sheriff Raymond Hardy was in charge of the investigation. I wonder if records were preserved in this case. It's doubtful that evidence was saved, as they deemed this a death by natural causes. It's also interesting to note that Rosemarie Austin was married to a man named Austin and lived in a small town of Austin, Indiana. I would imagine that he was a native son of that town, and that a lot of family members in the town of Austin, um, probably stood by him and backed him up in claiming that this was definitely a death by natural causes. Rosemarie Austin was from another country, even though a lot of German Americans live in southern Indiana. She would have still been seen as sort of an outsider. It probably would have been a very lonely life for her there in Austin, Indiana. In 1978, Rosemarie Austin was not the only woman found dead in a field in Indiana. In the mid to late 1970s, many murder victims were found in Indiana fields. Terry Joanne Darlington, Monica Maria Mason, Cheryl Bolin, Christine Kozik, Ann Harmeyer, Tara Meredith, Pamela Ann Smith are just a few off the top of my head. Pamela Ann Smith's murder happened in 1975 in nearby Greens Fork near Richmond, Indiana. She went for a walk and disappeared, and her body was found in a field many months later. Rosemarie Austin is buried in Scottsburg Cemetery, according to her death certificate, and there doesn't seem to be a headstone there for her. I have questions. What was Rosemarie's maiden name? Was it Horvath, like her mother on her death certificate? Did she still have family in Austria? Was her family there informed of her disappearance? Were they informed later of her death? What was the state of her marriage? Was it a happy one? Very little information was printed in the paper. I can't find an obituary or a funeral announcement. If anyone out there remembers her or has a photo of her, please reach out. She was found on Friday, September 21st, 1978, according to the paper. Rosemarie's death certificate says September 18th was when she was killed or found. She supposedly went missing on August 13th, according to the newspaper, but her death certificate says she died on August 18th. What's with those inconsistencies? Do we know exactly when she went missing? Her husband, Herbert Austin, was buried later on in a different cemetery, in Cana Cemetery. Why was he not buried next to his wife, Rosemarie? Why is he buried on the other side of town? Rosemarie Austin had a son, according to the few newspaper articles I could find. As a mother myself, I know she would have done anything to get back home to her child. Perhaps Rosemarie Austin did die a natural death. Perhaps not. Being a relative newcomer to the United States, it's doubtful that she had many close friends in rural Indiana. Victims really need friends and advocates. Hopefully there's someone out there who can help fill in the gaps here. It looks like Mr. and Mrs. Herbert Austin attended a party, an anniversary wedding party for a couple who's the husband of the couple was named Basil Stouts. They had a wedding anniversary party in 1974, and I'm wondering if anyone had pictures still of that wedding anniversary party. It was put in the paper in sort of that way that a lot of parties and society things were done. It was just a little at-home party, but back in the day there was always somebody in local newspapers who would write up things like that in the newspaper and mention all of the names of people that went. Rest in peace, Rosemarie Austin. If you have information about the death of Rosemarie Austin, please reach out to the Scott County Sheriff's Office at 812-752-8400. It would be nice if this post, this YouTube video, kind of made it back to her family, extended family in Austria. And, maybe they could also tell investigators more about what they knew about her life in Indiana. Rest in peace, Rosemarie Austin.